day to you. This is Todd. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word. Thanks for joining us as we are going through the book of Matthew right now. Excuse me. And we are talking about John the Baptist being killed or beheaded. This is 4 episodes we're doing on this. Today is the 3rd episode of that. The first day we talked about how the guilt of sin will haunt you. And then yesterday we talked about how people will hate you because you do not embrace or accept their sin. Okay? Today we're talking about how our own human nature wants to do what is popular over what is right. Our human nature, what I want to do, what my flesh wants to do what is popular over what is right. Okay? And you're going to find that it happens not only back then, but it happens still today. Okay? My flesh wants to do what's popular with everyone else and not offend anyone else over what is right. Okay? And that's today. It's taken from Matthew 14, verses 6 through 12. All right? It says this. Let me get my spectacles on here. On Herod's birthday, the daughter of Herodias danced for the guests and pleased Herod so much that he promised with an oath to give her whatever she asked. Okay? Remember, we're at the point here in the story where Herodias hates John the Baptist. Okay? And now we're in a situation where her daughter, not Herod's daughter, but her daughter, is dancing, for Herod. Okay? And he's so impressed with the dance. And let me tell you, it's not a little, square dance that he's like, wow, she really swings her partner around and around really well. It's not like that. It's a very seductive dance that she's doing. He was so impressed with it that he goes, oh, I'll give you half the kingdom, up to half the kingdom. Okay? And Herodias is going, all I wanted was John the Baptist killed, and you're not giving me that. So let's see what happens here. Verse 8, prompted by her mother, she said, give me here on the platter the head of John the Baptist. The king was distressed, but because of his oaths and his dinner guests, he ordered that her request be granted, and had John beheaded in prison. His head was brought in on a platter and given to the girl, who carried it to her mother. John's disciples came and took his body and buried it. Then they went and told Jesus. Okay? So, again, the main point is this. Our own human nature wants to do what is popular over what is right. You saw here in this story that I just read how Herod, he knew what was right. He knew that he shouldn't be killing John the Baptist, okay? And he didn't want to do that at first. But he is swayed by the people. First of all, he's sucked into his fleshly desires, which it's kind of a twisted story here of the young girl dancing that is his niece. So she's doing the seductive dance, and he's like, oh, wow, this is really great. And as he's doing that, he says, I'll give you half the kingdom, okay? And then Herodias steps in and says, good, I can get finally my wish. And so, she says, the head of John the Baptist, okay? At that point, Herod has a choice. He can go, you know what? We can't be doing that because that would be wrong and that'd be in sin, okay? But he's already living in sin. Or he could please the people. Now, as this was happening, he had all the dinner guests there, and he had his wife, and all the high officials were there, okay? So if he says no to her, it's embarrassing. He's just, gave his word that she could have half the kingdom. And now he'd be taking it back, kind of an Indian giver. And he didn't want to do that and look bad. So he goes, okay, I guess we need to do that. And so he has John the Baptist beheaded, okay, even though he knew it was wrong. And so in the end, you see that Herod was a people pleaser. That's what he was. He turned out to be. So you have Herod, the people pleaser. You have Herodias, also another character in the story. She was a person who pleased her flesh, okay? She wanted to live in sin, and she didn't want to be confronted with it, so she wanted John the Baptist dead. And so she was, fulfilling the desires of her heart, which was her flesh, and she wanted John the Baptist dead. So she was living for herself, okay, her flesh. You have one good character in this whole story, okay? And it ends up really sad because the one good character that was living solely for God, not living for himself, not living for other people, he was living only for God, he's the one that dies, okay? And that was John the Baptist. He lived to please God, okay? So you have the good guy, John the Baptist, he was living to please God. You have Herod, who was living to please everyone else, and you have Herodias, who was living to please herself, okay? And in the end, John the Baptist is the one that's killed, okay? So, but I wanted to point out with this whole thing today is this, that our human nature, what will happen with our sinful desires is we will end up doing what is popular over what is right. We're influenced by people. It's only that when we're truly following God, that we say, hey, you know what? We need to go away from what people are saying and go to what God is saying. And that was, John the Baptist is a good example of it. He ended up giving his life, or losing his life, because he was standing up for the truth. All right? Thank you for watching. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word, and I look forward to tomorrow. We're going to actually conclude this story of John the Baptist. Lord's blessing. I will see you then.